The idea of inanimate objects coming to life and thinking for themselves isn't new. For years, we've dreamed about a world of robots and artificial intelligence coexisting alongside humans and integrating into the fabric of our daily lives. We've seen countless movies romanticizing this dream, from robots helping to save the galaxy to machines rising to kill us all. But the reality is, artificial intelligence is already here. And although we may not always realize it, it's shaping the way in which we navigate our world. But to understand where we are today, we need to understand where we've come from. And this goes back to the deepest parts of our history. You see, artificial intelligence progresses through the analysis of data, and it turns out, so do we. Now, this may seem like a strange statement. If we think about it, we have evolved through our innate ability to be both data collectors and data analyzers. In fact, this ability to be good at understanding data has been the cause of nearly every technical innovation in the world, even back to prehistoric times. What's consistent, though, is that through each one of these disruptions, the people who were slow to adapt were the ones who faded into irrelevance. Think about our hunter-gatherer ancestors, for example. How did they survive? How did they evolve? They achieved this because they were able to turn their observations about the world around them into actionable data. By understanding things like herd migration, weather patterns, season changes, tool making, and the benefits of fire, they were not only surviving, but they were building the knowledge base to thrive. This incentive to hunt better, to build better, to live better sparked a series of innovation. The distribution of this knowledge then created disruption, and disruption is the catalyst that propelled humanity forward. Jump forward 12,000 years and we see that data, knowledge sharing, and disruption through innovation is still our primary drive. In fact, we create so much data that the figures are nothing short of mind-boggling. We often hear the phrase, data is the new oil and we're the commodity, and although that statement is rather inaccurate, it does capture the very essence of our collective online footprint in respect to our digital lifestyle and global economy. Today, our digital universe is estimated to consist of around 44 zettabytes. That's 44 trillion gigabytes of data that grows exponentially. Over 4.5 billion of us contribute to this data economy, and within a single internet minute, we will log on to Facebook over 1.3 million times. We'll watch over 3/4 of a million hours of content from Netflix. We'll perform 4.1 million internet searches and swipe left 1.6 million times trying to find the love of our lives. With all this data produced and consumed, it's imperative that we build the tools to better understand, to better identify, and to better capitalize from its potential. Cue the algorithm. Now, our digital lives are governed by algorithms. When we use social media, when we stream a film, when we plan a trip, even when we do our online weekly shop, algorithms are working behind the scenes to move the process along. Let me give you an example. Now, do you ever wonder why an internet search decides what comes out on top, or how social news feeds choose what information to display? This is what's called link analysis, a kind of data mining. Algorithms will look at your friends, your mutual friends, your interests and purchase preferences before using this data to customize a feed that's presented back to you. The information you give fuels the information you receive, and we begin what's known as a digital feedback loop. And what about the entertainment industry? Now, one of my favorite Netflix shows is House of Cards, which was released in 2013. The show was a runaway success, and even after 4 seasons, maintained a 5-star rating from over 375,000 reviews. But how did Netflix know this? How did data drive that decision? Well, they knew that subscribers enjoyed and regularly streamed the work of David Fincher. Think Fight Club, Seven, Gone Girl, and The Social Network. They also knew that, at least at the time, films featuring Kevin Spacey had done well, as had the British version of the series. The result, a $100 million investment that quickly paid off. This is the power of data and the algorithms that make sense of it. Now, the way that this is presented back to us is also evolving. In fact, if you're older than 30, you're a member of an exclusive club, the Digital Disruptors. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, we have ridden one of the biggest fundamental shifts in how data is absorbed, and it began with our adoption of the internet. Now, contrary to popular belief and to the astonishment of my 10-year-old, the internet is relatively new. launched in 1989 by British scientist Dr. Tim Berners-Lee. It was conceived to meet the demands for automatic sharing between scientists, universities, and institutions around the world. But back then it was the Wild West, completely open, without the proper platforms that we now take for granted, and governed by our inherited drive to share. If we go back to its roots, you simply stumbled upon information, usually through word of mouth, bulletin boards, or interest groups. In fact, it was over a year before we began to see the first signs of indexing with services such as Archie. Back then, due to its limited space and capacity, only the listings were available, not the content. We had to know the exact wording of a website. Results would often be riddled with spam, and the indexing could take weeks to complete. Frankly, it was all a bit of hit and miss. But I know what you were thinking. Where were Google, Bing, or MSN Search as it was known back then? Well, these tools didn't show up to the party for almost 10 years. And when they did, they complemented the likes of services such as Yahoo and Ask Jeeves. By then, we had so much information at our fingertips that these smarter search engines that were based on advanced algorithms and machine learning were very much in demand. This was the status quo. This was the new normal. Suddenly we could type the query and weighted results would be returned. But here's the snag. Did you ever look at just how much information was returned? Do it now. Open a browser, go to Bing, type, what is the internet? You'll get over 140 million results. 140 million. If you open one link a second, it's going to take you nearly 5 years to get through them. So disruption was imminent. So in 2008, Apple created the App Store. This changed the way that information was presented by containerizing it into small applications. We had an app for news, weather, travel, and suddenly search engines were not the only way to source, organize, and categorize our info. The trouble is there was still too much, and the developer community pushed ahead creating more and more apps, peaking in 2017 at 2.2 million. Now, this number has come down. In fact, as January 2020, the applications available stand at around 1.8 million. But why? I believe the answer is bots. You see, today we don't want to open an app. We don't want to even look. I want to tell my smart device to perform a task. This could be set an alarm, tell me the weather, even turn off the light. I don't just want to search for cinema listings. I want to be able to book the movie too. I want to be able to ask what time, what theatre, how long, and I want this information to be readily available and on demand. The expectations and the way that we interact with technology has once again changed. Today is not about the human understanding the computer, it's about the computer understanding the human. Bots are the results of years of algorithmic and machine learning evolution, tied in with advancements in technology such as natural language processing. This trend, this momentum has seen an explosive use of these services across the internet, in our homes, and on our smart devices. But if we strip the technology back, what are we actually dealing with? Data. We're dealing with data, and the bot is nothing more than an agent that accesses it. When I perform the utterance, I would like to order a pizza. Algorithms are used to determine the intent, order, and the entity, pizza. Bots are otherwise known as artificial narrow intelligence. Simple agents that run automated tasks that are generally simple and repetitive in nature. This might be searching a knowledge base, looking up product details, or providing recommendations on what film to watch. Bots love repetition, or at least hate it less than humans. They deliver consistency, accuracy, and speed by retrieving data from back-end data sources and presenting it in a more human-like form. An industry has cottoned onto this, which largely explains the phenomenal integration aimed at improving customer experience. Today, when we visit a website, we are more often than not presented with a chatbot that will empower us to find what we want faster and with less navigation. And of course, AI has far more practical uses than simply answering questions. By using Microsoft's tools, we can perform image recognition, language translation, content moderation, and advanced analytical investigations at lightning speed. Take our response to the current pandemic and the proliferation of COVID-19. With the launch of our AI for Health initiative, we're empowering those on the front line to better fight the disease through a strategy that amplifies the efforts of data analysis and the skills of data scientists to maximize impact. Our partnership with the High Performance Computing Consortium, the Institute for Health Metrics and Evaluation, as well as many more, mean that we're able to capitalize on technology and use it to address nearly every aspect of addressing the disease, from crunching the massive data sets to analyzing disease vectors and treatment. Our collaboration with non-profits, governments, and academics allow us to bring our experience to the table, providing access to AI, technical experts, and data scientists. Now, I realize that apart from staying home and staying safe, we can't all save the world. But we can think about what a future may look like. We can use this time to dream about how technology and how AI will play a part. At Microsoft, we believe that it will be useful whenever intelligence is useful, increasing productivity and economic growth. We realize that this will come with challenges as well as opportunities, and that strong ethical principles must be followed. We also realize that it's a shared responsibility and subsequently working hard to democratize the technology. Our approach is to make the building blocks of the future available to all. We realize that by creating such innovations, we may have an advantage, but we also have the humility to understand that we don't necessarily know how to best address the role that they should play in society. This requires people to come together to help shape our future, not just a single country or community, but a global basis. As we seek to build smart cities, autonomous vehicles, and transform the relationship between people and technology, one thing is known for sure. This will be a new era of disruption, a new era of productivity, and an era where human ingenuity is enhanced by speed and precision. Thank you.